What's good, people's DL Saint? So, over the weekend, Elon Musk sent an email to all government employees, basically mandating that they explain what they did in the previous week. So, like at least 5 bullet points. This is what I did, and if people refuse to comply, then they will be terminated. Government employees, and then you got some departments in government, some heads of government agencies, FBI being one of them, telling their employees that they don't have to comply, they don't have to send this email. Now, for those who may or may not know, I'm a retired air traffic controller. I know a lot of people in government. There's a lot of people that I know that are retired, and I know a bunch of people who are still currently in government. Now, air traffic controllers don't have a lot of fear right now. They don't fear losing their jobs right now. There's a shortage, and then all of the negative press. You know, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are going to leave the air traffic controllers alone, but they will go after everyone else in the FAA and all these other agencies. So a lot of my friends and people that I know, people I've worked with, I've known for years, they're worried. They're like, yo, Saint, should I be worried? Yeah, you should. You should. What's going on with this move with Elon Musk's email, Doge thing? What's going on with this? It's a setup. Plain and simple. Setup. Most Americans, right, especially people who are not minorities, I'm a black dude, there's a lot of brown dudes, men and women out there, Asian folks, a lot of people of color who have been set up before. We know what it is. Seen this a million times. America, you guys are being set up. Think about it. They want to fire as many government employees as they possibly can. And it's not about the budget and paying off the deficit. No, they just want to get rid of them. They want to crush the federal government. That's the plan. That's what Trump is doing. That's what Elon Musk is doing. Why they're doing this, I don't know. Haven't figured that out yet. I don't know. Still waiting to see. Who's really behind it, I don't know. But they want to fire people. Who have they fired already? Those people who are probationary. Within their first year, probationary. They went right after them. Why fire those people for any reason whatsoever? When I started in 1998 in the FAA, it's the first thing they told me. Hey, keep your nose clean for the first year. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything wrong, because you can be fired for anything the first 12 months. So that's what they did. They went after those people. They're not worried about that holding up in court. They got that on their side. But they want to fire more people. So now they need a reason. They need a valid reason to let these folks go. Right? And just poor performance ain't going to be enough. They're going to have to start some sort of paper trail. No matter how thin, they're going to need a paper trail. So what's one way to do it? One way to do it, order everybody to the office. No more remote work. Even though we hired you to be a remote employee, we're going to mandate you have to go into the office. And when you go to the office, you get there, you realize there's no space. And all of your bosses and all your supervisors and everyone else say, hey, we don't have any space for you guys. You show up, you swipe your card, you were there, go home, we'll have further instructions for you later. Then you get home, and then later on in the week or maybe 2 weeks down the road, okay, we've been given a reprieve. You don't have to come into the office until this date a month down the road, okay? And then a few more weeks go by. All right, if you live outside of a certain radius, let's say 50 miles. If you're outside of that radius, you don't have to come into work. Just keep working from home like you're doing. And okay, all complete chaos. No one knows what's going on. No one's getting any guidance, right? None whatsoever. This is yet another way to set you up with that left, hit you with that overhand right, to knock you out, fire you. So that was the first way. Second way, the email. 5 bullet points of what you've done over the past week. We want to check your productivity. We want to see what's going on. Send this email back to us. Right? Now, here's the thing. If you fill it out and you come up with your bullet points and you say whatever it is you're going to say, if the people who are receiving it are looking for a reason to fire you, they're going to point to your bullet points. This fails to meet standards. Whose standards? This fails to meet standards. We gotta let you go. Dunzo. And if you don't send that information in, you're being insubordinate. We told you to send it in. We told you multiple times to send it in. We never received your email. You're fired. Dunzo. You see, it's the setup. It's the setup. Ask anybody who's been there. Now, there are ways to deal with it. There's ways to deal with the setup. You know, I'm older. When I was dealing with it, it was in the late 80s, early 90s. We handled it the way we wanted to handle it. Sometimes it wasn't even worth the fight. But it's a setup. Now, what should you do if you're in this situation? You got to document everything. You need paper trails to everywhere. Every time you email someone, CC, blind CC, get this information, stack it all up, because you're going to need it, because you're going to get fired. You're going to get fired. You're going to wind up in court. Elon Musk is not firing these people. Donald Trump is. It's really hard to fire a government employee. It's really difficult. The only time that I can recall where government employees were fired en masse happened in 1981. And that was under Ronald Reagan when the air traffic controllers went on strike. He fired them. And around about, 17 years, 18 to 20, or 17 to 20 years later, they all got their jobs back. Those who were still alive and who wanted the job, they got their jobs back. Right in that instance, that was under Bill Clinton, where they all got hired back. This is unprecedented. This is definitely a setup. They're setting you up for a hit, and you're going to get fired. Remember that movie Taken? When Liam Neeson was talking to his daughter and he was telling her what was going to happen, and she's like, oh, these guys are in the apartment. Oh, they're coming. And what did Liam Neeson tell her? They're going to take you. This is what I need you to do when they snatch you up. I need you to yell out things, see stuff, if you see tattoos or a description of these people or what they're wearing, right? Remember that scene in that movie? It's like they're going to take you, right? So here's the deal. You're going to get fired. Probably 70% of the standing workforce is going to get fired. Paper trail, people. Don't believe a thing your supervisors or your regionals or whoever, don't believe what your bosses tell you. Get it in writing. Record it somehow. Get it in writing. Emails, texts, and keep those receipts. And maybe when this is all over in a couple of years, maybe you'll be able to get your job back. No guarantees on that, but maybe. Right? So that's what's going on. And for those people who are like, well, I'm 50 miles away from the office and I'm more than 50 miles away and I'm just complying with what they told me, my boss, my supervisor, my manager told me that I'm okay. Are you sure you're okay? What is the mandate exactly? Is it 50 miles or more away from the facility in which you think you are assigned? Or is it 50 miles away from any federal facility? Let's say VA. 50 miles away from any VA office or 50 miles away from your VA office. This is what I'm talking about, DOD. If you're a member of the DOD, you're working remote for let's say the Army. Is it 50 miles away from the unit you're attached to work to? Or is it 50 miles away from any Army installation? Or is it 50 miles away from any military installation? That's a big difference. You could be in Dayton, Ohio. It's like, well, I'm working for people who are based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I have this contract, and they say I just have to be more than 50 miles away from the place where I'm assigned to work. Or does it say 50 miles away from a military installation? Because Wright Pat Air Force Base is right there. So, are you sure? Did you get clarification? And if so, can you prove it? Email people, email, text message, get your receipts because you're going to need them. So should you be concerned if you're a government employee or contractor with everything that's going on right now with Doge and Elon Musk and Donald Trump? Yes, you should be. Understand that you're being set up, period. So prepare yourself for it. And if I'm wrong and you take these steps, well, you got these receipts or whatever, you're good to go. But if I'm right and you don't take these steps, you fired and good luck getting your job back. Because when the other side gets back into power in a couple years in the House and in the Senate, they're probably going to ask for receipts. And if you can produce the receipts, they're probably going to reinstate you. Who knows? Who knows? But you want to have those receipts. Americans have a very, very difficult time thinking. Americans aren't taught to think. They don't teach us how to think anymore in our school system, in our educational system. Americans just go with whatever they're told. We don't like to read. You ain't even got to read no more, man. It's on YouTube. It's on your phone. You can listen to it. Hey, you ain't even got to read no more if you don't want to. But you got to be able to think. You're going to have to think your way through this, period. So, yeah, you should be concerned. Don't bury your head in the sand. You're in a fight, right? You didn't start this fight, but you damn well better finish it. Because if you lose this fight, that means you might not be able to feed your family. You might not be able to feed yourself. You might lose what little things you've managed to gather, like your house, your car, your condo, your whatever. So think it through, people. Think it through. Don't just be running scared. You're in the fight now, man. You better get you some licks in. You better get out there and get you some licks in. Better learn how to dodge and weave and duck because they coming for you. This is a setup, people. Plain and simple. The next move is up to you. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you ever been set up before, tell me your story in the comments below. I want to hear it. All right? I'm going to talk to y'all. Peace.